Hello, welcome to NXT right here on the AfterBuzz TV network. We're going to be talking about NXT as well as 205 Live in this fun little bit of content for your internet enjoyment. Let's just start the show.
You're tuning into the destination for TV super fan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
It is the EST-ist episode of AfterBuzz TV's after show ever. Welcome everybody to AfterBuzz TV. It is the 205 Live NXT Power Hour. Patent pending. I'm one of your hosts, Mark Donica, joined as always by Bill Hanstock.
Hi.
Hey, it's Bill.
It's me.
Hobo's not joining us. In case you don't follow him on social media at Bings Destroy. He's going to be at the New Japan Dojo for 2 more weeks.
Thumbs up to him for doing that. Thumbs down to us for not having Hobo, the Hobster.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah. Sharkosaur chat. Was he doing the Lacey's music? Hello? Yes, I was. That's exactly what I was doing.
The entire episode.
Oh boy. Anyway. Let's get started talking about 205 Live. Man.
Yeah. Man.
Solid night of action.
Yeah.
Buddy Murphy killed a man.
He did a murder.
He did a quick old.
He did a murder to a guy. One, Buddy Murphy might be my favorite wrestler right now. 2, he murdered a guy. he did a triple powerbomb to a guy, and somewhere between the first and the third powerbomb, the guy was completely knocked out, and he did the guy did the hands clenching involuntarily thing, and Buddy was supposed to either not go for the pin or have the guy kick out before 3 on the third powerbomb, and he just threw the guy to the side, and then the guy's one leg went under the other leg, and then he just laid in the ring like that. Yeah, and then they had to keep holding on Buddy Murphy while people checked on the guy, and the ref had to give Buddy Murphy instructions. But yeah, I'm excited about this Buddy Murphy Cedric Alexander thing coming up. The opening tag match was really weird because I love all 4 guys, but at least 3 of the guys in the match were heels.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Tommy was the true heel, but 3 of the guys in the match were heels, but Kendrick was returning from injury and facing Tommy for the first time since Tommy injured him. Mm-hmm. So it was a really weird dynamic that they had this really valiant guy returning from injury battling this evil guy who broke his face,
but he was still kind of a bad guy. It was a very, I agree, it's
strange dynamic. At the end, definitively Tommy shoved down Akira Tozawa and left him behind, so at least there was at least one babyface in the match. Mm-hmm. But Tommy and Tozawa came out first, and they were both playing up to the crowd really big. And even later, I don't remember. There were just weird people playing to the crowd, both on 205 Live and on NXT.
Yeah,
it's a little interesting, but great episode of 205 Live. Mm-hmm. The Gulak Kalisto match was incredible.
Yeah, I watched.
The finish was amazing.
The entire, my computer is just on its last legs, and I was trying to watch it, but the frame rate was great.
It was awesome. The finish was Kalisto going for Salida del Sol, and Gulak reversing it midair into the Gulak. Yeah. And also Gulak was doing really good stuff with trying to pull Kalisto's mask off, and then Kalisto got really pissed off as a result.
I saw a lot of what I did end up seeing was a lot of innovative offense from Kalisto.
And from Gulak too. He put Kalisto in a modified Boston Crab where Kalisto's feet were inside Gulak's thighs. So it was real nasty looking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Man, I'll watch that on a proper television or on something where it's not just in GIF form. But it's cool that we can see people still innovating in the ring, and that's one of the things that I think 205 Live truly offers. And I've last week I was on Collider's Body Slam podcast, and both the guys that are on that show were kind of anti 205 Live. But ultimately I said, watch the past 2 months. The lead up to WrestleMania and now post WrestleMania, there is at least one really good match, and the rest of the matches are pretty good.
Sure. No, 205 Live's been amazing.
Solid.
And I feel after Backlash, that's probably when we'll start getting perhaps a tournament for these tag titles that we keep hearing about. Because it's just been so weird with WrestleMania, then 2 weeks later, Greatest Royal Rumble, and then a week after Greatest Royal Rumble, you get Backlash. So it's And plus, so WrestleMania, the week after WrestleMania, the Superstar Shakeup, the week after that, the Greatest Royal Rumble, the week after that, Backlash, and now only after Backlash are we actually going to get the rosters settling onto the two shows. So it's super weird, and just I'm just hoping that once we get past Backlash, everything's gonna be like nice and enjoyable to watch, and storylines will happen again.
I agree. I totally agree.
NXT obviously isn't affected by that nearly as much as everything else.
I mean, you say that, but then we get debuts like Kona Reeves, or re-debuts, reintroductions. There's a little bit of space to be had on the NXT roster now that so many people have gone up. So we get to be reintroduced to Kona Reeves, which we will talk about in a moment. Is there anything else you wanted to mention about 205?
It's great. Buddy Murphy's amazing. I want a Buddy Murphy shirt. I want Buddy Murphy to be 205 Live champion and then like kill everyone and then like, just like go be world champion somewhere because he's amazing.
Did they cement when the Cedric? No.
I assume it's going to happen on Backlash, but as far as I could tell, there wasn't any official announcement.
No, because they announced that.
Oh no, because he's not the challenger, right?
But I thought he was the number one contender, and then because of the weight loss.
But they did the backstage segment with him and Drake said, "Congratulations, you're back on the roster." And Buddy Murphy said, "I want my rematch, or I want my title match." And then later in the show, they announced that Murphy's going to face Ali next week.
That's what I saw. But then so they're not going to have the cruiserweights on Backlash unless it's like a tag match or something.
Okay, so let's use kayfabe logic for a second.
Let's do it.
Kalisto won the gauntlet match. Mm-hmm. Gulak beat Kalisto this week. Therefore, Gulak has a claim to a title shot presumably before Buddy Murphy, who presumably lost his place in line when he failed to make weight and was taken off the show. So now that Buddy Murphy's back, now he faces Mustafa Ali, who was also in the gauntlet match. So once Murphy, I assume, beats Mustafa Ali, then Buddy Murphy and Gulak will both have a claim to the title, and maybe we do a triple threat match in the next pay-per-view.
Money in the Bank, which is not for
July.
Yeah, jeez.
Is that true? No, June.
I got 6 weeks between Backlash and Money in the Bank from Joseph Boza.
Well, you know what? That's enough time for a tag team title tournament.
A tag team title tournament.
Age?
You know, it's the But yeah,
Buddy Murphy.
And actually, before we go off of 205 Live, going back to Greatest Royal Rumble, we saw don't know if it was temporary or not, but the return of Sean Daivari with his brother Arya.
Probably temporary.
But they're building this tag team cruiserweight.
Yeah, that's
true. Having the Daivari brothers in as a tag team doesn't sound like a bad idea to me.
Let's run down the potential tag teams on 205 Live. We've got Lucha House Party in any permutation. Got Gallagher and Kendrick. Yep. We don't have a Tommy and Tozawa anymore.
Unless they kiss and make up.
Nice. We could have Tozawa could team with TJP. He could team with Mustafa Ali. There's a lot of definite
couple of good guys instead of a couple
TJP's
of mixed.
A bad guy still? Yeah. I don't know. Who cares? Well, no, you could have Tozawa become an honorary member of Lucha House Party, then have two teams from Lucha House Party. Yeah. But you've got Gulak and Nice, I assume, will be back together.
Well, no, because
sometimes they're feuding and sometimes they're not.
The on again, off again feud. What other tag teams are you pointing out? I mean, the Daivari brothers, I think, would be pretty flipping cool. Yeah. I really like
literally flipping cool.
Yeah, I really liked the segment at the Greatest Royal Rumble with them and the Saudi boys.
You could have if they're, I don't know what they're billing Trent Seven at, but Mustache Mountain potentially. I mean, I don't know what they're billing Pete Dunne at either. Like, I think they're probably both billed at over 205.
Yeah, you could do Mustache Mountain.
Yeah. Because Bate has been on 205 Live. Mm-hmm. Roddy's been on 205 Live. I mean, you can't do Roddy because he's part of the NXT Tag Champs.
But why? What if Undisputed Era went up to 205 Live, took the tag titles, and brought them back down to NXT, and they were just all over the place, and Kyle just had a super long guitar.
I just want a storyline where Tucker Knight and Otis Dozovic try and enter the 205 Live,
like with mustaches.
No, it's like every week they're trying something different. Like they get on the scale and Otis is like, "Help me, Tucker!" And Tucky's like lifting him up, so he'll
just a little bit. That could be fun. Gulak and TJP is the new catch point.
Oh yeah. That works. Mm-hmm. I'm into it. I mean, as much as I could be at anything TJP's involved with.
Yeah, let us know who you want to see in the 205 Live Tag Team division, or what tag teams you may have seen that we haven't seen on 205 yet. Some folks that can make it. Let's get into WWE's NXT program. Oh boy, we get started with the Undisputed Era in their clubhouse, just talking about all
No
bunch of
girls
mess.
allowed. This is their little corner of the backstage area, the scaffolding where people cut their promo class promos, and it's very cute that they've staked out this clay. Like, they should start putting up like graffiti and like. Did you ever watch the Kevin Steen show on High Spots?
Oh no, I didn't.
So he always had a little easel with a really awful homemade sign that said the Kevin Steen show. And then there was like a plastic cane mask hanging on the top of the easel. So I just want them to start decorating their space a little.
I think it'll get there. They have to explore the space a little bit more.
Like just like the broiest, awfulest things, like a Scarface poster.
A Scarface poster, but instead of Pacino, it's Riley doing the
See,
playing
now
his guitar.
that's actually a decent shirt.
I don't like
having to promote Kyle O'Reilly in any way.
Well, I think the Scarface poster style is just way played out, and the only way that I really thought that it worked was the way they did it with Eddie. I was like, okay, that was a really
great.
sweet shirt.
But it's a bad movie that is awful and not good. So.
The original or the Pacino one?
Oh no, the original's fine.
Yeah, okay.
Pacino, the only one that people know that what we're talking about.
Oh, Matt Ward brings up the Singh brothers.
Singh brothers.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Injured.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem. But I think he's
Rockstar
doing pretty well.
Spud and EC3, and then they'll do average weight.
Be good. Hey, guess what, Bill? Hell froze over because guess who we got in NXT? We got Kairi Sane versus Shazza.
It finally happened.
Shazza.
And she was just there to do a little bit of light pantomime work and then to get murdered by an elbow.
That was it. That was absolutely it. Shazza barely got any offense in, but Kairi Sane blew through her.
And if you turn the volume up real high on that elbow, you can hear at the moment of impact just Shazza. We got to talk about how horribly Shazza was reintroduced.
What was the last name they gave her?
No, her name is Shazza McKenzie.
Oh, McKenzie. Okay, yeah. But the video said Shazza.
But then her lower third.
The lower third said Shazza McKenzie. Shazza McKenzie.
Shazza McKenzie.
Shazza McKenzie.
I taught you the Shazza McKenzie.
You got to put the McKenzie in there. Shazza McKenzie. Yeah. Sharkosaur was so shit-sided to see her.
Salt.
A little bit of the Salt Bay. Oh, got it. Did you see the Infinity War version of that? That's so good. So good.
Guys, Infinity War rules. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Flippin' rule.
So welcome to the last 39 minutes of the show where we'll just fully spoil Infinity War.
That part where that person... That part where that person died?
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
Shazza.
Not...
Meeks did.
She was just...
I squished him on the bridge.
But I'm just been carrying him around.
Feel bad. Oh, he's alive. Meek's alive. What were you saying?
I rewatched like all of the Korg scenes over the weekend.
Korg's the best.
I miss that boy.
Piss off,
Ghost. I got away.
He's bleeding gone?
It's like a circle, but like a weird circle. Oh, man.
He's the best.
He's so good.
Hannah would pull you off.
So good. Another day, another Doug. After this, hello! Lacey Evans came out.
Hello!
That's funny.
Definitely not looking like a Nazi at all.
No.
Definitely not looking like some sort of fascist soldier. Doesn't
Not
look
a
like
member.
M. Bison in any way.
No, she used all of her bison bucks to pick up that outfit, but that was not a great Not a great look for the former Marine.
But a great look for what she's going for.
Yeah, she said with everything in her, she apologized, she admit that she was wrong, holds out a hand of good faith. And everybody in the crowd saying no, no, no. So Kyrie doesn't shake her hand, and as a result, she gets punched in the flipping face, man. And it's the crowd. I blame the crowd.
KO.
Well, no, that's later in the show. Also on the main roster. They have to do that twice with two different people. But the thing with Lacey is she was out there being the bigger person, and she was offering a hand of friendship. And the audience should feel ashamed of themselves, as Full Sail usually should.
That's true, just all the time.
Just in general. So decked the crap out of her. Lacey leaves. Goodbye. And then... that was stupid. And maybe we'll get a match between the two of them. In the back... Man,
I mean, if we don't get a match between the two of them, that would be pretty silly.
Just a punch. That's all I got.
Well, I'm done.
I wonder when we're gonna see the Forgotten Sons. That whole group.
Man, there's just so much happening in NXT.
There's a lot, and it's not all on TV.
Speaking of which,
the First Lady of Fascism.
Speaking of which, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, did we talk about last week?
I don't know.
Where we had a few of our boys in the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Not yet, but because we're going to be talking about the Tale of the Tape between Heavy Machinery and Street Profits, we're going to be talking about it. Hey, so Kathy Kelly, I'm going to just dub the bearer of bad news.
I love Kathy, but her new gimmick is like corner people and make them confront their deepest nightmares and psychological issues.
Man. It's bad. I mean, I gotta say, first of all, hair looks great with a little bit of blonde in there. Fantastic. But
Kathy looks good. Weird.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. Kathy Kelly looks good, and don't at me. But she was asking for an update. She asked for an update about Johnny from Candace. And Candace is like
distraught. She was interviewed immediately after her husband was taken away to a local medical facility.
Essentially,
but didn't go with him.
Well, no, I think
Cassius was like, "I'll ride with him."
I think this is.
I got this.
I think in canon, this is supposed to be a week later, because at the end she says
that interview was supposed to be tonight.
Yeah, because she got because he was like, I have to go get ready for my match tonight.
It looked like it was just like immediately following. Okay, all right.
Either way, Candace was just distraught. She doesn't understand who Tommaso Ciampa is anymore. She was friends, no family. But I gotta go to get ready for my match. God, they're making her work? She is emotionally distraught. Why would you make her work like this? And yet, I'm very mad about that.
Work.
We get Angelica, Eliza, and Peggy. We got Lars Sullivan promo. Cool. But it looks like he's coming after any and all champion.
Yeah.
He touched the gold and went, I want to touch it again.
I touched it.
I'm going to touch the gold.
And they should Pete Dunne, so Pete Dunne be fearful.
Dude, Pete Dunne versus Lars would be wild.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
He's going to kill Adam Cole. But I mean, they showed all of Undisputed Era.
Lars Sullivan murdered nude Killian Dane and sent him packing.
Well, no, I think the last person to do that was Aleister Black because he got hit with the Black Mass.
But Lars Sullivan has already overcome his most recent rival.
His most recent nude rival.
His nudist rival.
Yes, his nudist rival. And you're nude!
Now I'm the nudist.
Nude Lars Sullivan coming soon.
You will be able to ascertain how nude I am.
I'm about it. I'm so about it. Then we got Street Profits versus TM61. And Montez Ford, as always, is the highlight of any Street Profits appearance.
So good.
He's just on his way out to the ring, and then in the ring,
the best. Even if Moro doesn't know which one he is.
That was
hey, Mark.
Yes, sir.
What are we doing with TM61?
Well, I guess they're bad guys now. They're like,
Okay.
hey, they're trying to catch up on lost time because they've been out of the game.
I like some ketchup on last time.
Like ketchup on my bloomin' onion, but that was unfortunate.
Bloomin' onion sauce is pretty good.
Isn't it like a spicy mayo sort
Yeah,
of a thing?
kind of. It's basically just like secret sauce.
Yeah. It's no spread.
Mm.
Sharkosaurus says Bill's Lars impression is just his Ventura impression dialed down to about 60.
No, it's just my Braun Strowman impression, but well, no, I don't know. It's somewhere in the middle. But
It's somewhere
I
there.
need to listen to more of Lars because I got the Braun down and I got the Jesse down,
Mm-hmm.
but the Lars is a little bit tricky. It's in a weird area.
Well, because also the lisp isn't
Yeah.
like a cartoony.
No, it's just him. He's very sibilant on his S's.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Ice-T. It's like an Ice-T impression, but not deep.
Yeah.
Because Ice-T is like, it's not personal, it's business. That's Ice-T.
Yeah, yeah.
But then, like, because he's very hard on those S's. Yeah.
He is into them a little bit more. But TM61 got this win with a foot in the rope and then holding the foot down for extra leverage.
Just forcing, just cramming the face right into Montez Ford's crotch.
Yeah.
Which we should all be so lucky.
Yeah.
And, I mean, best of both worlds, because he gets the face, like, just snug up against it, plus gets the pin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally a win-win.
Yeah, because before it's like, oh, yeah. But then it's like, oh, and we also won the match. Hey, sweet.
Street Profits, man, not catching a break on this one, but something that I was really happy to hear about over the weekend. Somebody sent me pictures of Heavy Profits, which was Montez Ford and Otis Dozovich tagging over the weekend at NXT live events.
So good.
And for the love of God, I love me some Tucker Knight. I'm a fan of Angelo Dawkins, but those two together,
this is the money.
That's money,
Yeah.
man.
Money in the bank.
Especially just the size difference.
So good.
And
This should definitely just be the team.
and much respect to Tucker Knight, who made it into the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Because they could do the compactor, but Otis holds the guy, and then Montez does a frog splash into his
On the
back.
top rope. Yeah, hell yeah, man. I was really happy to see Tucker Knight and Dan Matha, who were both representing the Performance Center in training.
And
What?
Babatunde.
Well, in terms
sorry.
of the trainees
Yeah.
and the tryout that they did in Saudi Arabia,
Mm-hmm.
and then to have them show up in the Greatest Royal Rumble along with Babatunde,
Yeah.
who we've been hearing about Baba for a while now.
And Roddy Boy, who got to blister up Daniel Bryan's chest like he likes.
He did it real bad,
Yeah.
real bad. Was there anybody else that was just straight up NXT that showed up?
Tucky, Matha, Babatunde, Roddy.
Dan Matha, like I'm really happy that.
Dan Matha. Okay, I don't know what it was about that stage and that ramp, but everyone was approaching that ramp so weird. Did you notice that?
What do you mean?
Well, especially like you could really notice it on Matha, but like he like runs out on the stage and then when he gets to the ramp, he's like everyone was having like
slowing
weird
up.
problems like running down that ramp.
Maybe
I
it was
don't
just
know
at a
what it was.
really strange angle.
I don't know what it was. It could have been like it was really slick because it was just built and those LED boards. Like I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously there was something with Titus. So.
Poor boy.
But just like if you watch it again, and I don't recommend it, but if you watch the show again, especially during the Rumble, like people coming out and when they're like when they're moving fast on the entrances, especially with Matha, you can notice like he's like.
And if they're not walking, or if they're not running, it's a little bit more noticeable.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I do. I guess I need to watch it a little bit more carefully. I enjoyed the show. I like the Greatest
Yeah,
Royal Rumble.
I knew it was going to be enjoyable, and I had a good. Like, it was totally enjoyable to watch. It's just so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like the booking decisions were weird. The everything.
the
culturally-
pacing.
Like the international issues of the situation
Yeah.
were very weird. It was super long.
Mm-hmm.
I just it's kind of a bummer that like nothing ended up like really mattering on the show.
Well,
Because it seemed like it was gonna matter a lot more than it did.
especially because we didn't know what the prize was going to be until the night of, and the first segment said, "Hey, they're going to get a trophy."
Yeah.
Okay, they're getting a trophy, and then the next segment said, "Oh, they're getting a trophy
And a belt."
and a belt."
Yay.
Cool looking belt.
Yeah.
You don't see a green strap on a belt since
You
WWF.
don't see it.
No.
Well, PWG world title.
Well, I mean, excuse me. But yeah, I thought it was a solid show. It was cool to see some NXT representation in there. But we all know that the money match is Heavy Profits versus Street Machinery. That's what I was saying before we went up. But using that as a transitional thing, next week we're going to be getting Heavy Machinery versus the War Raiders. We saw a tail of the tape. It's over 1,200 pounds of meat. And you're going to catch this meat. And I'm really excited.
Answers the age-old question, where's the beef?
Can't believe it. Can't believe it.
It's here.
Morrow.
And our mouths are watering.
They also announced the Morrow documentary on Showtime.
Oh yeah,
that looks interesting.
It did.
Yeah, I'm happy to learn more about the man. Hi Morrow.
It's called the Rock and Roll.
It's Rock and Roll something.
Rock and Roll.
I mean, whatever. I'll just look it up.
How do you afford your rock and roll lifestyle?
Bipolar rock and roller.
There it is.
God bless him.
That was a cake shout out. Big ups to my cake fans out there.
And to all who have gone the distance.
I love cake.
And/or for speed.
In every respect.
We find out that we're going to be getting a little bit of the finest, NXT's finest. Kona Reeves is going to be debuting next.
He's got the finest hair.
But before we get there, we're back with Kathy Kelly in the back with Cassius Ohno. Cassius, what's going through your mind? She's a very compassionate person. She wants to get to the bottom of all these people's emotions. But Cassius has the gall to call Tommaso Ciampa a scaramouche.
He should change his name to Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah. Knows Tommaso needs to feel the same helplessness that he made the Garganos feel, as well as himself, and he's going to be the one to do it. Ooh.
Hey, Mark?
Yeah.
What are we doing with Cassius Ohno?
I mean, you know what? It was one of those things where when he was in the background of the segment last week, I went, hey, what are we doing with Cassius Ohno? And to be honest, like when the second Kathy asked, I went, oh, okay, they're going to put him in a match with Tommaso. I guess we'll find out.
But really.
In general, I have no flipping idea, man.
He's never won a match.
I mean, they did a mini doc about
he lost
him.
the blow off to Tommy, right?
Oh yeah. No. I thought he won that.
Oh.
But I don't remember, because that was there was a lot of different feuds happening at that time. I mean,
like, they're not gonna. Eventually, like, long term, they're not gonna, like. If they were to give him a title shot against Aleister Black, it wouldn't happen at a takeover, right? It
would be a TV,
like a 3-week build to a TV thing or whatever.
Yeah, if they have a long in between a couple of takeovers.
A long in between.
If they have a long in between. Mm-hmm. Damn it. Because, I mean, are they going to do a takeover in... Chicago. They're doing takeover Chicago, and then they're doing New York. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what else they'd build for Aleister for Chicago.
I think for Chicago, you might have to look at Tommaso Ciampa going up against Aleister Black.
I could see that. Yeah.
I mean, you can't... Oh, you know what? They'll probably build for Lars Sullivan in Chicago.
Maybe, yeah, I can see that too. I think anybody in the North American Championship match. Maybe not Ricochet, not yet, because they're going to take their time with him. Right. But
I think Ricochet at SummerSlam might be possible. I just don't think that they're going to do I just don't think that they'll do Velveteen Dream, Aleister for the title for a while. If they were smart, they would
next year. Yeah.
At the Rumble or at Mania.
Yeah.
Would be the smart thing.
God, I would love it if it was in LA.
Yeah.
For Survivor Series. I want it. Anyway.
I forgot about Survivor Series.
Yup. So, hey, let's talk about Kona Reeves. All right. If I could give shout out to our iTunes listeners, but if we can give a quick review of Kona Reeves, it would be a just dab with his Merlot colored ring gear. He sauntered down to the ring.
Such an awful person, and that's great. He's bad. It's just bad, and I think that it's going to be really good for him.
He looks like the guy who spent his last dollar instead of on bills on his gear.
Yeah.
So that he looks like he is the finest, but secretly he's camping out behind the performance center.
They should do a thing where slowly over the course of the weeks, his finest jewelry he gives a little like green ring around his.
Because like that's one of the things about the like I am the greatest thing of all time gimmick that we see so frequently in professional wrestling is you're already at 10. Where do you go to make that person relatable? So if you have the last person to do the like they built to that. I was gonna say Jamie Noble like winning the lottery and then being the rich kid who went from jean shorts to khakis. But do we ever have somebody that lost it all?
Yeah, that's happened.
That's sort of a thing I think we need with Kona, because we saw a little bit of who's his opponent, Patrick Scott, sort of losing, or like Patrick Scott was getting a little bit of an advantage, and it was really bothering Kona Reeves. It's like no, I'm supposed to be the finest. It's me. Like
I don't think the gimmick needs anything else. I think it's perfect. I think that he thinks that he's a certain thing that he's visibly not, and the crowd knows it too. And I think that that's what's really going to work for it. I think it's great. I think it's a perfect gimmick for him. I think it's as good a gimmick as they're possibly going to find for him.
Yeah.
And I think that it's probably going to go a fairly long way. Like I think it's going to be great.
And I forget.
I'm already enjoying hating him. It's fun.
Dang MQ said before we went live that it's going to take all it's going to take is one good match, and everybody's going to be behind Kona Reeves.
Well, no, I don't want them to be behind Kona Reeves. I want him to continue to stink and continue to be a terrible person. And I want, and I think what WWE, what NXT wants from him is for people to not get behind him at all, ever, and just be the guy that people hate. And I think that that's so much fun and so invaluable. Like, that's why Eva Marie was so much fun to watch for so long.
I can see that. Yeah. I know what I want Kona to do next. Now that we've seen him on TV and we've been seeing Kathy doing all of these sad interviews, I want Kona Reeves to interrupt one of those sad interviews, just be like, "Hey, it's me, I'm Kona Reeves."
Speaking of interrupting an interview,
I don't get it. Well, no, but before that, we got his sort of release Samoan facebuster that he calls the Hawaiian drop.
Sure, he does.
For he calls it that. Man, if you're not live in chat, if you're watching this after the fact or listening to this after the fact, please join us live, because there's a lot of stuff that I can't say on air that is happening in this chat that I absolutely I adore.
Hey, remember how awesome those scenes with Doctor Strange and Tony Stark were in Infinity War?
Yeah.
Now imagine Kona Reeves also there.
Right?
See? It's perfect. It's a good character.
I would use the time stone to keep reliving that moment.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Can you do that as Ventura?
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Oh boy. I'm gonna compose myself there. We find out that EC3 is gonna be debuting on NXT TV next week. Awesome. He's gonna start the transformation from NXT to NX3.
I also like that EC3 is like the only way you can get EC3 less tan is to put him outside.
It'll brighten him up a little bit. Some of that natural light. Then we got Dakota Kai with the makeshift scrum interview in the back of the Full Sail, and she's looking forward to making her mark on the NXT Women's Division, but she doesn't want to talk about Shayna Baszler.
And then she gets interrupted by Vanessa Bourne.
Vanessa Bourne, yes, that's her name.
And yeah, because
that's a joke.
The most hilarious thing to me about the scrum interviews, other than that these segments exist and are a trope on NXT now, is that no one involved in putting these things together has ever seen a scrum interview before, has ever been part of one before, because I've been part of many.
Yeah.
They don't go like this at all. They treat the scrum interviews like a press conference.
Is this a walk-up press conference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which also, but in a situation where you're with 4 or 5 or 6 other reporters, none of those 6 reporters is going to be going, Vanessa, 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 Vanessa. Like, that's just not going to happen. Like, that's a red carpet. That's what happens on a red carpet.
Not a scrum.
That's not what happens on any sort of situation like they're presenting.
Looks like,
especially because like they're like Dakota, 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 and she like looks at one, and they're like, Shayna, you seem like you're pretty afraid of Shayna Baszler, and then she's like, Nah, not talking about Shayna Baszler,
no.
And then Vanessa Bourne comes in, and as soon as someone new enters the semicircle, everyone goes, Vanessa, Vanessa, Vanessa. Like, no, dude, no. Nah.
Sharkosaur pointed this out. We thought the same thing too. One mic looked legit like the top of a barbecue sauce bottle.
I thought it was a Palm Wonderful bottle at first.
Thought it was shampoo. It was like a Vidal Sassoon.
Look, this is important. This is an important audio tip for everyone. If you have a shotgun mic, you want to put the windscreen over the shotgun mic and then wrap a bunch of tape around the top of it. It really helps focus the audio.
God, I love Vanessa Bourne, NXT's resident sex haver.
Oh, I've done sex.
I'm Vanessa Bourne. This message paid for by Vanessa Bourne. Why doesn't somebody do a presidential type press conference for these things just one time? Asks Pepsi Fan 24.
Trugulak.
Yeah. I think also a Lacey Evans would call.
Hello.
Well, no, because she did a Scrum interview.
Yeah.
Never mind. Goodbye. But it looks like we're gonna have a Vanessa Bourne Dakota Kai match.
Sure, whatever.
Cool. Which I think will end with Dakota running from Shayna Baszler and Shayna Baszler hurting Vanessa Bourne, because that's where we're going.
I'm into it.
Where do we see the women's division by the time we get to Chicago? You know, one of the only
I mean,
the only two people that they're kind of building up for this is Dakota, just because they're spending a lot of time on it.
I think that Dakota's gonna end up with a match against Shayna Baszler at one of the takeovers.
All right.
And I also I think that Dakota might get a situation where, because Kairi Sane says like she knows Shayna Baszler's secret, so she might help train Dakota Kai. Like, that'd be a fun little friendship thing happening.
That'd be fun.
Like, I'll teach you how to not be afraid of Shayna Baszler, and so then Dakota Kai finally agrees to a match with her, and then she doesn't win, but she at least holds her own and learns how to not be terrified of her.
I can see that. Let's talk about Candice LeRae versus Bianca Belair. Holy crap. This was a fun match. Now, this was a lot more of an opportunity for Candice to show why she is one of the best in the business. A lot more so than her match with Zelina Vega a couple weeks ago, but they still made all of the commentary about Johnny.
Well, the story of the match was that she's so preoccupied with Johnny that's why she lost to Bianca Belair, because as much of a force as Bianca Belair has been since coming to NXT, she's still not on the level of Candice LeRae's ability or expertise. So they had to very much make the story of the match Candice LeRae is preoccupied, focused on something else. So she wasn't able to devote her entire attention to this match, which is how Bianca Belair was able to get the win.
I didn't see that until after the match.
To me, that's the only reason to keep the commentary like it was.
Yeah.
Like, that's why. Because you have to hammer home. This is why Bianca Belair is beating Candice LeRae in this match. Like, as soon as they did the backstage interview with Kathy and then announced that she was in the match with Bianca Belair, I was like, oh, the story is that she can't focus on this match because she's preoccupied with Johnny.
I didn't see that in her performance in the match, though, because she tried everything that she could to outspeed
we don't know when this
Bianca.
match was.
True. But she did everything that she could to outspeed Bianca, and it almost worked. But Bianca was too powerful.
But it was a lot of fun. The deadlift spot was awesome.
That was wild.
Deadlift into military press into Snake Eyes was awesome.
Yeah, and Bianca ends up getting the alley-oop for the win.
Yeah. Terrible name, terrible move. She got to get a better finisher.
It's something a lot more powerful. It's
How about that 450 splash, bro?
Because with so many other people.
Bro, how about that 450 splash?
That 450.
That 450 though.
But I think because so many other people do 450, the 450, even
But
though it's a
no
different
women
division.
do
Sure. But I think if they want to go, like, she should have a standing finisher as well as a corner finisher, if we're talking about 2K logic. Something that anybody can do in the middle of the ring in a video game. But but power. And because she can't do the deadlift to everybody, even though it's a huge flipping,
She probably can do the deadlift to
to
everyone.
just about everybody.
Like everyone but Nia, probably.
Yeah.
Like how about this?
Yes.
The deadlift into the clean and jerk into the military press, but then she does like a sit out like Michinoku driver, like from the military press
Something like
position. Like that would be cool.
Military press.
I mean, she'd break a
driver.
lot of people's necks, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'd be about it.
Do you prefer the Michinoku driver or the snowplow? Do you remember the snowplow?
I remember the snowplow. I was, just because it was a, you wouldn't go to a pin from the Michinoku driver as opposed to the snowplow. I was a big fan of Al Snow, so I'd say the snowplow. Yeah. But the Michinoku driver has become more of a thing. Yeah. Somebody, I think Jeff Hardy did one to Jinder at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and my dad was like, "What did he say?" It's the Michinoku. There's a wrestler named Taka Michinoku who did this, and it was and it's become a thing. Oh, okay, that sounds great. Next week we find out that
He wasn't even watching. He just walks in the room. What's that?
What is that?
Who did that?
Next week we're getting Raul Mendoza versus EC3 and Cassius Ohno versus Tommaso Ciampa, as well as War Raiders versus Heavy Machinery. That's a big show already.
Big show full of big boys.
Big boy, big show, big boy. And then our main event of the night, which honestly I wasn't as into because it just ended up being a brawl. For the most part, and Roddy slowed it down a lot. Pete Dunne versus Roderick Strong. I think that it's just going to be building until that eventual British Strong style.
We didn't
era.
like when they were heading into the main event. You were like, I don't think this match is going to last very long.
Yeah.
We were intrigued by the prospect of this match, but I think pretty much everyone knew going in it wasn't going to be a real full match between these two. So. They've already put, I don't know if you've seen the shows, the 2-night UK tournament match that's happening at the Royal Albert Hall in London. The poster is Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era.
They've been
sorry, British Strong Style. All three of them.
Yeah. They've done a couple of spots on Twitter about it, and it's sort of all been confirmed. So I'm excited to see that when we finally get to this year's UK special.
Well, let's get your take on it. There's going to be a 2-night tournament. We don't know the participants yet, but the first night's going to be a 8-man tournament for a number 1 contender to the UK title, and the second night's going to be the UK title. So we assume that the first night, the main event will be British Strong Style versus Undisputed Era, which means that neither Tyler Bate nor Trent Seven will be in the tournament.
Yeah.
So, who do you think might be a Wolfgang?
I think Wolfgang is kind of a lock. Any of the people that have
No. Who do you think is going to win?
Oh, going to win? Yeah. I wonder if they're going to put anybody from.
Has Dunn and Wolfgang have had a UK title tournament, or have had a UK title match on NXT, right? Or did they never have that match? They just teamed together and then.
No, they did have a match. It might have gotten broken up by disqualification. But I know that they've fought in a WWE ring. I wonder if it's somebody that we haven't seen before.
Maybe Mark Haskins or something.
Somebody. I know that Danny Burch did just sign a full contract.
Oh, that's cool. Good
so I think it would just be badass to see the two of them against each to see them fight. But yeah, I mean,
so you heard it here first, people. The winner of the UK title tournament,
Martin Stone,
badass Billy Gunn.
That's us. That's us. We are the badasses known as Billy Gunn.
It's a UK. Bam, bam.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what talent either returns or it gets introduced for the first time, and if we're actually going to start building towards a UK television product, just because that's been the rumor since the UK tournament.
Yeah, and also now that ITV has announced that they're doing World of Sport for 10 episodes, much more likely that WWE will pull the trigger on whatever.
Something.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's part of the reason why they signed Danny Burch for full time. He just fought Bull Dempsey at a show in New York, one of his last indie dates before fully committing to WWE. Do you think we're going to see any female UK talent?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Man, this was kind of the show that we were expecting last week from NXT, even though last week was kind of a textbook NXT show. I would say this one even more so. We had 5 matches. Some of them went really quick. Some of them were for story purposes. We got new talent. It was a solid show of NXT around, and I would say, well, maybe not. Maybe this not to be an episode that you show a brand new wrestling fan, or like, hey, what's this NXT thing? But I think there's plenty to pull from this episode. Any last things about 205 Live or NXT, Bill?
Buddy Murphy's great.
Yeah. Buddy Murphy, he's great. Great.
Shazza. Glad we got to finally see Shazza. Shame about everything.
Everything else.
Regarding Shazza.
But hopefully she can take a little bit more mime work.
Shazza.
Solid show all around. I'm excited to see where we go. I mean, next week's going to be an even bigger show. I think they're taping again soon too. So if you're in the Florida area, make sure to check out NXT. But next week we are going to be hobo-less, but we're going to try to get a third at the very least to come in and talk with us about WWE NXT and WWE's 205 Live. But in case you're not watching this live, watch this live. We're live Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, right after NXT goes off the air. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, please leave a review. We need those reviews so that people know where to go to get their NXT fix, as well as meat jokes and things of that nature. But until we meet again, everybody, hello, Bill. Where can the folks find you? What are you working on?
Hey, everybody. You can find me on all social media at Sundown Motel. If you don't already follow me, please do. I'd like to get to know you a little bit better. Also, I am no longer with Uprocks, and I would like to encourage you to all continue to support uprocks.com with spandex.com, because the people who are still there can use your support more than ever. So continue to read if you've been reading. With Spandex does great stuff. Brandon Stroud is still over there, but I will not be. So if anyone knows of any jobs, please hit me up on social media, Sundown Motel.
If there's a digital outlet that you want Bill to be a part of, let them know. That's the best way. Visibility.
Yeah. I'm available for all digital media, editing, writing, on-camera work, production, directing, screenwriting, social media, PR work. I'm out there. I'm available. I have a lot of experience and a lot of skill set. So also, you should hire Mark Donica for everything, production-wise, because he's one of the finest producers I've ever worked with.
Oh, Bill, I love you. Oh man, you're gonna get me to cry like Candice LeRae with Kathy Kelly. Yeah. Is Kathy here? Is she gonna make me cry too? Man.
See, Candice. See, I got laid off this week, and I'm still giving NXT after show my 100% focus.
I'm still
That's
here.
That's not true. I'm at like 60. Sorry, guys.
I'm Mark B. Donica. You can find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. If you're
NXTeam.spreadshirt.com.
NXTeam.spreadshirt.com. NXTeam.spreadshirt.com. There are 2 Bill Hanstock designs. You should probably pick those up. And we've got a bunch of silly ones too. We've got We Like Ike. We've got Lars Attacks. A whole bunch of silly stuff on there. But I'm on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. I did a whole bunch of stuff last week. I was on Collider Body Slam, which is their audio wrestling podcast, and let them take a listen. Okay. Let them know if you want me on it again.
My final, for the time being, my final episode of McMansplaining as co-host went up today. You will continue to hear me on McMansplaining for for a while to come, because we've got a lot of banked episodes. But this week it's Ernest the Cat Miller. We had a nice most of an hour conversation with him at WrestleCon. It was awesome. So check out my official farewell to the McMansplaining podcast and that interview that went up today.
Sundown Motel, Mark B. Donica, Bane's Destroy, AfterBuzz TV. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Shazza!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.